All right, guys, we got SMP Ink here, and we have a special guest today, Mr. Bye Bye Stretch Marks, aka Sean McDonald. We were just talking about no one knows his real name because we only call him Mr. Bye Bye Stretch Marks because that's how big his name is.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's memorable, let's be honest.
Yes,
Sean
is.
McDonald's not memorable.
So tell us a little bit about what you do. I mean, for those who don't know what you do.
Yeah, of course. So I'm a paramedical tattoo artist. I specialize with stretch marks and scars, anything from reduction to concealment. We are, if you're not familiar with paramedical tattooing is like a subgenre of PMU, permanent makeup.
And you make your own, right? I mean, you have your own.
Yeah. So jump a little ahead, but yeah, mid last year, I spent about 5-6 months developing my own medical grade serum, and then bringing that to the market. And so that's under a sub company. So my education work is all done under Apollo Ink Solutions, and Artemis Paramedical Supply Company is my supply company that I've been working on for the last about a year now almost. So,
AKA, he's a big deal.
trying to be. We'll get there someday.
So, I mean, I know a lot of people are thinking about it right now. They're thinking about stretch mark camouflage, or thinking about, and when you think about something like that, you think about primarily women. Mm-hmm. And you are obviously a male and a primary female industry. What have you experienced with that?
Oh, man. So I'll be honest, when I first got into it, I actually started with SMP. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I actually treated with Zangs at LA.
Joe with Zang?
Yeah.
Drop a big name.
So this was, I've done a lot of things. I left the military left for the military when I was 19. I got out in 2013. And for about 8 years, I was just trying to figure my way, right? And so I cut hair as a barber. I got introduced to SMP, and I thought that would go hand in hand with the barbershop I was looking to open the following year. So that was my introduction into the industry. And surfing through Instagram, following a bunch of people at the time that were in like PMU and cosmetic tattooing, and I came across an individual that was camouflaging a scar, right? So camouflage, or Brazilian camouflage, is using flesh tone inks or pigments to conceal to the surrounding skin tone, right? To hide, whatever the concern is. So I thought that was interesting. And my mom at the time had gotten into a car accident like 4 years prior. Car rolled like 3 times, should have, really passed, but she lost complete use of her left arm and has a bunch of scars on her left arm. And so I thought I could help her out. I was like, who knows, maybe I can network with like a local plastic surgeon, help work with scars that way or something. But I still, my belief at the time was SMP and cutting barbershop was going to be my thing. And so I started searching for courses. I found a course. The course covered inkless stretch mark camouflage, Brazilian stretch mark and scar camouflage, right? And I was like, I don't know what the hell this inkless thing is about. I didn't think I was going to do anything with stretch marks, to be completely honest. My thought process was, to getting back to what you're saying, my thought process was women weren't going to be comfortable coming to me because I'm a male.
Right.
So it was a part of the course, though. So I figured I'd take it anyways, and learn it. And if I get something out of it, I get something out of it. After taking that course, I put the service out there, got quite a few clients real quick, and I realized women don't care as long as we're addressing the issue that they're concerned about.
Right.
You're down there.
Let's just put. You're a well put together man. You look like a big teddy bear.
I appreciate
that.
It might have played to my benefit. I also know, to an extent, it also has been restricting too. I've had plenty of times where potential clients reached out to me. They love the work that they see. They're really interested in the service, but do you have a woman that works for you? Because of, their level of comfort, or it's their religion, right? Oh. I've had quite a few Muslim clients reach out to me that wanted the service, but didn't make appointments because I'm the only person at the time operating. So, I have had a little bit of struggle with that. I'll be just completely honest, when it comes to stretch marks, there's just really no other resolve. When you start talking about lasers, when you start talking about microneedling, these things just don't work, and then you talk about what I do and how nuanced it is. They're just like, I don't care what you look like. If I can get results, I'm paying, So
100%.
It's been great in that aspect. But being a male, it does come with its, set of boundaries you got to really operate within, And it's one thing I tell male trainees that come in, like, first and foremost, those clients' level of comfort is priority. Mm-hmm. If it's going to be their comfort or performance, I'm taking comfort over performance.
Sure.
You know, it would be great if I could have both, which I believe I do. But, 100%, because last thing I want to do is come off as some creep who wants to be around girls, you know?
Yeah.
We do the same thing, right? Right, Marvin? I mean,
Yeah.
we have maybe 40% of our clientele is female.
Yeah.
You know, what do you, how do you deal with that in Scottsdale?
The good thing for us, it's obviously on their head, opposed to being, stretch marks a little low, little private areas. But it's they don't mind as long as, like you said, you address the issue, we get time. It's a comfortable setting. Doors open. I still have other people working in the office. I leave the door open. I mean, it's once they kind of talk to you, and you realize it's over pretty quick, and they're pretty happy. So.
And with my track record, that helps now. But early on, I was just figuring it out. And mind you, I learned from female practitioners, right? So when we were in training, one of our clients specifically, we're working on her glutes, right? So her butt's exposed. She's just in her underwear, right? And just doing her thing. And I get it. That's how they operate. And in the beginning, I did the same thing. And then later when I'm looking back at content, I'm like, what am I doing? I got to give them a little bit more comfort to this. So then became more of a coverage. Only one side is exposed at a time, when it comes to working with the chest, because I work with stretch marks and, right up to the areola and stuff too,
Now, do you do scars too?
Yeah, so plenty of times I'm
like
working
implant
with
scars and 100%. Things like that?
I could be working with lipo scars, so under the glutes, right at the top of the butt, the sides. I'm working with implant scars. It could be anything from like what they call like an anchor, so it's like the line and the vertical line and the line underneath, right? Or lollipop, where it's like the vertical line and around the areola. Their comfort's a big thing. They're going to be fully exposed in some situations. There's sometimes I just can't fully cover like the areola because the scar's right on top of it, So professionalism is a major key for myself.
And that's all we've ever heard about you. We actually met Sean at a PMU World, which is a huge PMU event held right now specifically in Miami. It probably will change from there. But lots of people. And while we were there, Marvin, Sean, and I, we were probably 3 of 5 males in a room full of 1,000 females, which sounds like a dream, yes. But there are some specific things that we have to look out for because, we are men stepping into a world that's been primarily female for so long. We have to be very careful and mindful, just like you have to go above and beyond to make sure that the woman feels comfortable on your bed, whereas a female probably doesn't care as much.
Yeah, there's more, there's a lot of differences the way they can interact with each other. And maybe sometimes I'm, taking it to a level that doesn't really need to be, but I'd rather be there. You know what I mean? That's one thing I stepped in this industry was like, hey, like I'm under a microscope, even though the service that I conduct was actually created by a male. It is predominantly female clientele and definitely in an industry that's predominantly female practitioners or artists, right? So once I started to get the upward trajectory that I have, I'm like, there's people that are first going to not be liking that because I'm a male stepping into this female space and just waiting for me to fuck up, and expose that. And I've always thought about it too. Like, imagine if I had this opportunity at like 22, I would have messed that all up. You know what I mean? So,
we can't do nothing right at 22, yo. So when you start dating somebody, and you have your phone, which is 90% naked butts. Like, how do you address this? How do you say, hey, babe, don't worry?
Again, the client's sitting there in that level of comfort, right? So the photos are taken from there too, right? Okay. So it's only like half a glute exposed. They still have their, their undergarments on, stuff like that. When it's like taking something on the top, especially if I can't even cover it, like cover the areola with like say a pasty, we're still putting like a cotton round over it. It's being held with like like a cotton stick, stuff like that. So it's not like I had just access tops and bottoms all over the place. And from the get, in reality, it's once start dating somebody, it's like, hey, you got to realize what I do. I'm with a woman now, that I hope is the last. And
You guys look cute as shit, by the way.
Thank you.
I mean, Marvin and I have been following you guys too. You guys post a good amount
creeping
too.
on us, man?
I'm
No, I'm just
creeping.
kidding.
I'm creeping. I mean, we all need something to attain here. You guys always go on cool trips. Your family's beautiful. Your daughter is amazing.
Thank you.
And I don't know if everyone knows this, but we're 3 girl dads right here.
Yes,
so
sir.
I mean. Geez, we're getting the trifecta.
We almost did something wrong, huh?
Right?
One thing is like, hey, you met me doing this, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything I can within my power to make sure that you're comfortable understanding like what I do and that I keep it professional.
Yeah.
But you got to understand, I'm going to be around women, in this career for as long as I'm in it. So if I feel like if I have to start restricting myself, if I have to feel like I have to start, putting a filter on myself and my business, it's going to start hindering my business. And in the long term, that's going to weigh on the relationship because then I could start missing opportunities. I might, reject myself from a potential opportunity because I'm trying to, make sure she's 100% comfortable. And the big thing is communication. Like just know from the get, everything I do is for us and I'm going to never jeopardize that. So luckily she's a very great woman and very understanding for that. And, has only supported me. So I'm very happy to be with that situation.
The good thing for you, there's another aspect of what you do. Not only do you do the procedures, you also are a trainer in this. Mm-hmm. You teach, and I know you like to travel around a lot. Obviously, you can't just be in one area. Okay. So you've gone places all over the world to train. I know you just came back from Australia,
correct?
Right? All over the U.S. I mean, you've been to our locations a few times: Scottsdale, Las Vegas, all the way up Miami, New Jersey. Like name them, right? And Dubai. You're getting ready to head to Dubai as well.
Well, Dubai will be clients in a conference. I don't plan to host a class out there. I would like to. Don't get me wrong, but they got some nice paying clients out there too. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So tell me about your training program and how it works.
Yeah. So I started training just about 2 years ago.
Okay.
The big reason I got into it, I never even thought I was going to train. I wanted to come in and just knock out the practitioner work. There's great money as a stretch mark practitioner.
Sure.
A lot of opportunity, very few competition, right? So it was great. I was cool with that, and I kind of got forced into it. There was a lady that was following me who just really wanted to learn. And at first I was like, go learn from blah, 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 who I learned from, right? And she's like, no, I want to learn from you. And then so I sat there and I was like, you know what? There's a lot that I'm bringing to the table as far as a potential trainer, right? So when I mentioned I was in the military, so when I was in the military, I had a period of time where I taught weapons safety and operations. Mm-hmm. So I have a pretty good grasp on how to lay it out very easily to, for the trainee to absorb and retain, right? One of my big things was like, I need to have a free conscience when I step into this. If I am just doing what my trainer did, just hitting copy paste, put my name on it, it would eat me up, But so I started sitting there. I was like, well, actually, my technique has changed, right? My needle choice has changed. My ingredients list has changed. Mm-hmm. So I'm not even hitting copy paste. It's technically mine at this point, the way I look at it. So, I was like, okay. So I started putting something together. And I put together my first little training manual. It must have been like 13 pages total, And now in 2 years, I have updated it 5 times. I'm on my 5th version of it. It's now like 48 pages long or something like that. As I learn some more and, I think of other things to add more detail or depth to it, I just go and update it and update it and update it. And I've done that. I've developed an online training program. So I allow my in-person trainees to also have 30-day access to that, which has, some great 4K shot videos, a lot of detail into them, a lot of, notes and modulars along with that. So they get that. And I started traveling early on as well. And so this was with the intent to really grow eyes on the brand. You know what I mean? One of my things when I stepped into it and started to decide that I want to be a trainer and really grow in this space was how am I going to be undeniable, right? Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not the first to do it. I'm not the originator, but I wanted to be a trailblazer for it, an innovator in the space, and then become undeniable. And then from there, there's power in the name, right? So, or in the brand. So I just grew with that. So first place I ever went was Dallas. And that was actually the first class I ever had, too. So before that, I'd only had one-on-ones. Went out there, had a class of 3. It went well. The following month, I decided to go do the same thing in Houston. Had a class of 4 that went well, and then I got the bug, And it started February 2022. And then since then, it's almost been pretty much once a month for 2 years, right? So after that was Miami. Went from Miami to then Orlando the following month, Austin, Houston again, Chicago, New York, Houston again, Toronto, and hit Toronto again a little bit later after that. Obviously, always having classes in California. I've done Phoenix, I've done Scottsdale. Miami literally like 4 times, I think now.
That's awesome.
Dallas 3 times. I've done New York twice. I just hit New Jersey a couple months ago. I had the opportunity to go out to Melbourne, Australia, which was great. My largest class ever. Amazing class. Not to knock any of the ones prior or that have probably come since, but there was a great experience. And it's just been nonstop. Hoping to hit UK by the end of the year. About to next weekend. I'll be out in Washington, up in Seattle area. We're just trying to keep that going. And I'll be honest, though, it's been getting exhausting, but it's all with an intent. So I'm just trying to remember the intent.
So the intent is your why. So what is your why?
Well, why do I keep going? Why the intent?
Why do you do all this?
So...
and you've blown up pretty
become
quickly,
a slave
too.
To be honest. Yeah, so I've become a slave to it. So my growth has been because of this, most people, what they're doing is they start off in their studio and they're growing their studio. They feel like they hit a professional or they hit a level of like professionalism and knowledge to where they're going to then start doing some training. Not everybody does the training, but for those that do. And then they typically do courses from where they're at. They might be doing them every 6 weeks. They might have a class or, I know a lot of people that love to do one-on-ones, which I actually really enjoy one-on-ones because you don't have to be so, step by step by step. It could be a lot more relaxed and you'll get a lot of individual training, really tailored to them. But for me, it was the one-on-ones was just taking up too much time, It was like, damn, I do like 3 one-on-ones in a week. I could just have a class once a month,
Yeah.
But then the traveling started and I was like, oh shit, I can go from being exposed to my area to exposing myself on a U.S.-based scale. And then from there, it was like now North American scale. And now I'm trying to go worldwide scale.
What's the timeline on this? Just so people know, because
3 years.
That's not very long.
No.
I mean, you went from dabbling in something to help your mom, basically, to now you're talking about a global scale.
In 3 years.
We're talking about Dubai, Australia. I mean, 3 years.
I mean, I've had people take my online training all over the world. Indonesia, Germany, Brazil. I've had in Dubai, KSA, Japan. Oh shit! I didn't even tell you. I got a lady. Excuse my language. I got a lady flying out from
podcast.
China.
You cuss all you want. Shit, goddamn filth, farm filth.
I got a lady who found me off of Instagram from China.
No way.
Yeah. So
I remember that. Okay.
She found her own
interpreter
translator in LA.
All right.
And so she's come out to my office in California.
Sweet.
Spending some heavy money and like no whole bars. She's just like, how much? Okay, like I'm gonna book a flight. I want to do it this month. And she's like, I want it before
That
the month's
feels so
over.
good.
So it's like it's really cool to be on that kind of a scale. And it's happened in 3 years. The craziest thing was like really my first like year growth. In my first calendar year, so January to December. This is 2022. My goal for the year was $120,000, right? I was like, I can hit 10K a month every month. I'll be good, And mind you, the month prior,
Are you talking about money in your pocket or gross?
Net or
Net.
gross?
Okay.
Okay.
So, and mind you, like December of 2021, I think December was like 22,000 for the month. So I was like, that seems very reasonable, easy. Like, so if I have a couple months of slack off, it'll kind of pick it up, whatever. So I was thinking 120K for the year gross.
Give it to
March in 1 week was 120K.
Sick.
Wow. 3 months in 1 week.
Yeah.
I had to count it 4 times.
You're like,
I was like,
you're
there's
like,
no
how is
this happening?
Year Marco in my first quarter, like damn near my first quarter, just
so
a slide
cool.
over.
Yeah.
I was like, this is crazy. I closed out the first year at 374,000, 76,000, something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't project to break 300,000 until like year 4. You know what I mean? And that's when I was like, this is wild. There is so much uncapped potential. And how do I make sure I stay on top of this wave? You know what I mean? And so now I become a victim of the travel. I become a victim of having to, go somewhere and go somewhere and go somewhere because that's where it all came from. And I'm at this point right now. Actually, I've been fighting with it for like the last month. Just to be honest, it's been wearing me down. It's 2 years of this, like just constant. Time zone differences, never getting into a routine.
And you
I
got
fell
your
off
daughter.
my workout routine. I still
mean,
get my daughter 15 days, about 13 to 15 days a month, which is, almost half. But it's like, man, I'm home. I got her, and like still got a business to run and all this other stuff, and keep all these past trainees to keep up with because I offer, lifetime mentorship, and helping them and aiding them, and still trying to find the next client, still find the next location, and like I'm finally at this point where it's like, all right, some things need to start setting some. I need some help. I need to start setting some real things into play. Real steps in organization, I guess, really in reality.
So that kind of brings me to a question that we dabbled on a little bit before. You moved quickly through this, and you weren't doing anything like this prior. So what would you say to yourself if you could go back and tell Sean when he was still the SMP guy looking for the barbershop, not yet into this whole stretch mark camouflage thing, serums and stuff, what's some advice that you would have given to yourself? Because now it seems like you're borderline a little anxious about where this is going, and it just being you, and it just you can only do so much. People, we are artists, but we still want to live our life. Yes. And one of the main reasons I know I got into something like this is because I was working for the city, I was working for hotels, I was working for the man, whatever. I had to put in for my little time off, have it approved, and I hated that. And I felt like this way is something that one of the really big perks of this is having your free time. And I feel like hearing your story, you've become, using your words, kind of a victim to your own success.
Absolutely.
So what's something that you would have maybe told yourself or done differently now?
So one thing, just actually, like you mentioned the time off and freedom. You're never like fully free as a business owner. You guys know that, right? Even if you're sitting on a beach
mental prison.
You're still sitting and thinking about, even if you're like, I'm leaving the phone in the hotel room, I'm going out with my daughter at the pool. Like I was in Orlando, I took her to Disney World for her 4th birthday. And there's some times like that, but I'm still sitting at the pool thinking about work. But one thing that's been cool with the travel is like, I set where I'm going, most of the places I set where I'm going based on where I want to go, right?
Nice.
Like the first time I went to Miami, I was like, I want to go to Miami. So I'm hosting a class down there. I'm spending a week down there. Like all these travel trips up until the last one, I do it all alone. But my girl came with me to New Jersey, New York, which was cool because then she tagged along for her birthday. But so that's been cool to be able to set those things and enjoy that kind of time like that. But then at the end of the day, you're never, fully free of your company. So one thing I would do, if I could say, right when I took the course and, it'd probably be the 3 months later when I realized the potential. If I could sit down with myself at that point and be like, dude, you're about to go on a roller coaster. This shit's gonna be crazy, right? A lot of potential. Yeah. But make sure that you're wise with your money, right? Now, luckily, I'm not broke, but I've definitely had a nicer savings or been a little bit wiser, you know.
Every month won't be the same.
No, and there's things you can't account for.
That's right.
What I mean by that is like I got hit hard from Instagram in 2000. It was in 2022 September. They went and messed up their algorithm like bad. I went from about 800,000 engagements a month to 80,000. It was like I might as well have died. You know what I mean? Yeah. And what was bad was like when Kylie Jenner was making comments about it. She's like talking about her engagement sloping off, and that girl's got like every follower. Yeah, sure. So it was like things like that. That month, I went from like 45K that month to the next month. I broke like 18,000. I was like, what the hell? Still making all the bills, mate, but it was just things like that you can't account for. Yeah. And so I was just trying. Maybe I should kind of take this as like my future self telling me now, hey, be wiser with your money. I would go definitely back and tell myself to be wiser. Like, I went and bought one of my dream cars, a ZR1, right out the rip. Bought an $85,000 car at the time. The most expensive car I ever owned was $30. Then I got my Porsche Taycan 4S now. I always spending crazy money on food. I don't look at the bill. That's like one of those stupid things. Like I'm over here acting like I'm worth billions, like acting like that with food would be like, slow down, You don't need to buy 3 appetizers with you, you don't need to go buy the Porsche yet, and it's fun, don't get me wrong. And luckily I still can't afford it. It's not that it's a problem like that, but it's just like there's things I could be doing with the money I'm spending on that car,
Right,
you know, and or stacking it or making sure you know some certain things are
That's a
set up.
business mindset, and that can't be taught. I
No.
mean,
You learn. Unfortunately, a lot of us learn through experience.
Trial and error,
Exactly.
unfortunately.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you get that payment on that car that you really love, and it starts tearing you a new one 6 months later, and you start thinking about what that money could have done to you,
Yep.
and how it compounds, and how it could go back into your business. I mean, that's real stuff. And unfortunately, like I know I'm going off on a super tangent here, but I can't help but think I went to school and I learned Pythagorean theorem and mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell and all
Doodle
this,
album got
all
it.
this stuff. But they didn't teach me how to do my taxes.
No, that's on purpose, bro.
I'll tell you
Actually, that's another thing.
I'll tell you one thing real quick.
Go ahead.
I was so embarrassed. Marvin, I never told you this. I don't think I've told anybody this. When we started our company, I got
Lord.
a giant checkbook, okay? And it was a business checkbook. I've only seen personal ones. They're like little ones. My dad would use it when I was little. I was like, what the hell is he doing? But it's this big one. It has all these pages, all these receipt stuff, all this stuff. And I had to pay a contracted worker for something. And he's looking at me. I'm looking at the checkbook.
She doesn't know how to fill it out.
I don't know how to fill this fucker out, dude. I'm like, what? How have I gone so
Googling
wrong
it.
in life? I don't know how to. I'm a business owner in
Yeah.
front of somebody
Who's waiting
and
for
I
the
don't know
payment.
how to fill this check out. I shit you not. You know what I did?
Handed it to him.
Call my mom. I called my fucking mom, dude. I called my
I
mom.
would have Googled a filled out,
Dude,
like a
no.
photo of a filled out
I
check.
called my mom and I at least went to the other room. I was
Yeah.
like, Mama.
Walk me through this.
Oh, fuck,
What
dude,
is
fill
this
this shit
line
out.
right here? I have to spell it out? Why do I have to?
If I just wrote it, why
Why do I have to
it out?
write it again?
And
How do I
the
spell
sense.
What the hell? And I'm like, so I go get this back, and then, you know, I don't know how I went off on that tangent, but we don't know what we don't know until it happens.
That was my thing. Was
Yeah.
also, I don't have a family history of entrepreneurs, right? I've always been driven that way, and it's just more or less from like an ideal aspect. I mean, you've heard me spit ideas all the time. I talked about like a concept like this I had 2 years ago. It was great, you know. And I love to see people execute business, and I love to talk about it, spitball ideas. I've been known to sit down with friends who have ideas and sort the idea out with them because I just get enjoyment out of it.
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
like. I don't know shit about taxes. I don't know how to file it right. Like I don't know if I should be an S corp or an LLC.
Yeah.
I have like a very base understanding
Sure.
of all this stuff, and I hate it. I hate doing that. So that's the other thing I was gonna say. If I can go back and tell myself something, it's also save for them damn taxes. Because the first time I got hit with taxes, because I didn't file for 2 years, my first 2. So then I get hit with having to pay quite a California pretty penny
Ooh.
back.
Ooh,
And-
Cali.
Cali, yeah.
Oh gosh, the
That's-
double
that's
whammy.
twice as bad.
And
Yeah,
you know you've made it somewhere when you start having to pay quarterly taxes, because then the
It's easier to
government
manage.
is saying, hey, I don't really trust you to save this amount of money for the
Yeah.
end of the year,
Yeah.
which they're totally right in doing
Yeah.
so. No
Yeah.
one's gonna just sit with that money like, okay, bye, because that
Yeah.
hurts
Yeah.
to give that up anyway.
When you got to write that $30,000 check.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd rather be splitting the full payments.
Marvin and I's second year. First year was kind of slow. So in Marvin and I's first 3 years, we doubled our business every year. And I'm talking about doubled
great.
it end over end.
Yeah.
We got to the a point where we made $1 million a year in our third year.
Yeah.
When they speaking of,
yeah.
when you guys announced you guys breaking 7 figures last year at the event, like bro, I don't even know you guys. I was in the back of the room like hyped for you guys. I was like, I love to hear that shit.
That's
I get
awesome.
excited.
It's cool, and it's nuts for us to even think about that because we came from a one-room studio.
Yeah.
We didn't know what the future would hold. We were looking at starting an Instagram page and thinking about what our name was going to be. To 3 years later, we're celebrating making $1 million a year.
Yeah.
But
love it.
they also, we've never made $1 million.
Yeah.
Y'all, 20% of $1 million is
200
a lot of
bands.
money. So when you get hit with a tax bill out of nowhere from making that kind of money, it hurts.
You called your mom again.
I call my mama llama. I call my mom again. Hey, so what happened to Wesley Snipes?
What's the worst case situation?
I mean,
Blades and
is
Jim?
Blade- Hey, Hey, did you know he is? Have you seen Major League?
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's the dude that steals the bases. He's the skinny guy who steals the bases.
Yeah, I do.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Yep.
That's Blade.
That is, yeah.
That is a body come up if you've ever in your life. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry.
And on this segment of Tyler talks about men's bodies.
We're gonna have to put hashtag Wesley Snipes in this.
Please don't come to my house. Like,
Demolition Man.
Come more to my house as Willie Mays Hayes. Anyway, so if people are interested in what you're doing, what is the best way to reach out to you or find out more about you? What's your Instagram handle, website?
Yeah, of course.
How could someone, if they want to train or they want to get something done, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so right now we are making some updates to the website, but it is still open. So that's ApolloInkSolutions.com. Instagram is probably the best way. I'm always glued to it, so I always see the notifications and they don't go anywhere.
Do you answer all your own Instagram stuff?
For now, yes. And again, this year and the early part of next, we're making a lot of transitions. But yeah, so it's still me for the most part, or for now. So the Instagram is Mr. Bye Bye Stretch Marks. That's mr.bye stretch marks. I do have another page that is Apollo Ink Solutions, but it's just like an overflow, just so nobody takes it and tries to mirror me. But yeah, so you could DM me there. Also emails apolloinksolutions@gmail.com. And yeah, my contacts are all there.
And links are there to train and to actually, because you actually
So
produce serums and stuff as well.
Yes. So you'll see, I believe in my bio is the page for our supply company. Right now we have the Formula 3, which is my flagship product. This is the medical grade serum that I produced last year. Amazing product. Very unique. It's cut the healing time. Most of the industry is about 5 to 6 weeks on average for healing. My product sits at about 2 to 3 weeks on average. I've seen plenty of cases sitting around 12 days. I've even had a handful that were as little as 5.
Wow.
So amazing product, very cost effective too. 30 milliliters is $195 before taxes, which is very effective, especially when you're looking at a single bottle could easily make you about $2,500 depending where your price range is, pricing towards your client. But we also have a treatment cleanser. This is great for the practitioner to use. It doesn't require any soap, just a foam, gentle green foam soap. Did I say doesn't require soap? Doesn't require water. So just pump it onto the area to be treated, clean the area, wipe it off, you're all good. We also have aftercare cleansers. These are sold in packs of 5 for the client to leave the appointment with. This is an antibacterial and fragrance-free product, so you don't have to worry about your client coming into contact with a fragrance product and having contact dermatitis reactions or anything like that.
And your packaging is sexy also.
Yes, branding is everything for me. I'm huge about details. So if you go diving into my Instagram page, you'll find all kinds of, great content there as far, at least in my belief. But, branding, logo, all that is very critical to me. It's been something I've dealt with for the last 10 years. So I'm big about that. So
Awesome.
cool. Man. And then as far as courses, certain areas pricing does differ. So I don't have pricing listed. You just DM me, ask me what you're interested in. I do always offer one-on-ones. This is always available from my office in California. I also do offer it out of the Arizona location. Scottsdale out of SMP Ink. And then, so we can always work that out for that. It's just coordinating with your schedule and mine. Then I have class dates. Class dates are always pinned in my top 3 posts. You'll see them listed out there, have all the way out to November right now. One will change. New York is on there. I got to change that because I have a new product to come out. I can't talk about yet, though. This is going to be for the California, New York market. But the product won't be available yet, so I have to shift that class. So looks like we might be plugging in maybe Idaho or something like that in August. But yeah, that's all going to be available. And also, since we're on here, I don't know when this is going to release, but we're hosting a masterclass along with Bear Studios.
Yes, we
are. This is going to be in September, looking like just after mid-September, later part of September. I'll be hosting training on SMR and scar revision, so stretch mark rejuvenation and scar revision. You guys will be there for SMP.
Miami.
Yes. And then we will also be having Bear Studios join us to offer camouflage for stretch marks and scars. So just a big masterclass, paramedical training all around. I think it's going to be a great turnout. We're going to offer very competitive pricing on this too. I think it'll be an amazing turnout for that. I'm excited.
It's going to be. Mm-hmm.
And our
What do you guys
goal is to
think?
get as much available information to you as possible, let you feel comfortable in all these three aspects. And main goal is for you to not have to call Mama Llama. You don't want to have to call
Yeah,
Mama.
you don't want to have to do that.
So we're going to try to teach you as much as we can, get you set off on the right foot. You're only as good as your training for an incredibly long time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just go out there and practice on people. These are lives. These are people. This is very serious. They are coming to you because they feel some type of way about themselves. So this is the time. It takes great trainings, in-person trainings,
Right.
For things like this to learn this kind of stuff. So
It's not also just the training itself is a major key, right? But it's also what's going to take after the training, right? Because for a lot of these people, I'm sure you guys can, contest to this, but a lot of the people, it's going to be their first time getting exposed to this industry. So it's very nuanced information to them. So there's like, they're hearing it, but they're maybe not fully on retaining it because they don't fully grasp it yet. And then when they finally go to dabble in it is when the questions really start to, show themselves. And this is where I see a lot of these trainers are dropping the ball. Is they don't like when a client goes to follow up with them later when they got some doubts, some concerns, some questions, whatever, and they get shut off by that trainer. I've heard so many times they're like, this person I trained with, it was like I was bothering them after to ask them a question, and so that's why it's really big with me to have that lifetime mentorship. Like I'm here for you as long as you need me, right?
That's awesome.
And so I'm also looking to start a Facebook group so that way that all my past trainees could be a part of it and also commingle and be honest, it's going to get some weight off of my shoulders because if I can't get back to them quick enough,
they can help each other.
Exactly.
That's genius. I love that. I love
Great
that.
idea.
Well, thank you so much for coming down here and doing this with us.
Yes.
No problem.
It's
I
going to be
appreciate you guys having
some
me.
good content, especially for people who are wanting to get this done, wanting to learn to get this done. We're going to put as much of his stuff into the bio as well, just so it's an easy click for you guys.
There we go.
All right, brother.
Sean.
Always
Thank
a
you,
pleasure.
brother. All right.
Adios.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This was SMP Ink with Tyler Bennet and Marvin Furrow. We want to hear from you guys. If there's anything that you want to see on the show, any questions you want answered, please
guests?
comment. Any guests you want, we will try to get anybody we can on here.
That's right.